After deciding that they should find out what they can before heading back, Eugene thinks to himself that the twins are quite responsible after all. They might be rude and awful, but they're not as bad as they seem. Rob then calls him, and he answers asking what. Rob tells him that they, the twins, will scout around a bit more and look for the people. Eugene will handle the corpses and take care of the child. Eugene asks why, saying they should let him help too. Rob then smugly tells him that the roles were assigned based on ability, asking if he's got any objections to that. Eugene quivers in anger, thinking about how rude he is. We then see the beast corpses being burned. Someone asks an old man if he can hear well. We see that it's Eugene. He tells the old man that damaging the horizon is already an issue, but the demonic beasts might be agitated because of the harm that's been done to the land. There is a reason why slash and burn farming is banned in the horizon. No matter how much he explains, the old man only gets annoyed. He continues saying to the old man that he won't report him to the adults as a burner, as long as he promises that there won't be any more burning fields. The old man then calls him a little pest, catching him off guard. He shouts what in disbelief. The old man quickly turns around with a bright smile while laughing and saying how grateful he is that such young lords are helping them, how blessed they are. Eugene then says no, that's not it, asking what did he just call him. The old man slaps him on his hand while asking what's that. He should speak up, saying his hearing isn't what it used to be. Eugene realizes that he's only pretending to be deaf when it's convenient, saying he won't bring up sensitive matters then, but at least he should be given an explanation of the situation. He heard people in the village vanished because of the demonic beasts that invaded. Yet there's no signs of them attacking the village. As for the ones around the village, there are only the common wolf beasts. If the wolves had dragged them off, there'd be traces, wondering what's going on. We see that the old man gives off an weird and suspicious vibe, showing that he knows something. He then puts on a smile again, saying he has no idea. When you're old, you even forget what happened yesterday or today. Eugene can only look at him in disappointment, turning to leave while saying that if he, the old man, doesn't know anything, he'll have to look for clues himself. We see that the child is surprised to see that he's leaving. She tells him that she'll come with him, which he tells her she should just rest up. She's been walking a long time, saying she must be tired. As he's telling her this, he calls her by her name, Jin. The old man then suspiciously agrees, saying why bother such a noble person. He then tells her to come to him, saying to stay by this old man's side, which Jin starts to get teary eyes, reluctantly agreeing. The old man then apologizes to Eugene, saying the child is still immature, which Eugene tells the old man that it's not something to scold about, saying he's just worried she might be tired. While thinking that the mood seems to have changed, the old man says, "Such kindness. The poor thing must be tired from all that wandering." Eugene then realizes that something's off with the old man. The old man continues saying he'll wash and put him, Jin, to bed himself, so Eugene can carry on with his tasks. Eugene then gets confused as to why the old man is referring to Jin as a he. Jin then shouts that she doesn't wanna. Why should she have to bathe with the old man, saying, "Ew." The old man asks what's wrong. A boy should not be shy, right? Confusing both Jin and Eugene, Eugene realizes that the old man has been referring to Jin as a boy all this time. When Jin made it clear to Eugene that she's a girl, Jin shouts that she's not a boy, asking the old man if he forgot that. But Eugene stops her and tells the old man that he'll take Jin with him. On second thought, having someone to guide him might be a good idea, which makes Jin happy. The old man then says, "Okay, Eugene should take Jin along then." He then gives them both very ominous looks, before calling Eugene's attention before he leaves, saying Eugene must be surprised since he has lived a sheltered life. But this is how their lives are. Whether they disappear today or tomorrow, it would be nothing unusual, so he shouldn't trouble himself over them as they are just lowly ones. He should just go about his life as usual. As they leave, Eugene asks Jin how long has the village chief, the old man, been acting strange, which she ponders before telling him that about a month ago. But she's unsure. He seemed okay today, but before, he was all over the place. He didn't even recognize the villagers, and all of a sudden he started drawing strange images while making noises that no one could understand. That's why the adults said the village chief has gone senile. Everyone was gossiping about it. And then there is just now before they left, wondering why he's like that. Eugene only kneels down to her size and listens without saying anything. He then asks, where are the drawings the village chief made? Which she tells him that there's one nearby. As Eugene looks at the supposed drawing, we see that his face is filled with realization and worry. He thinks to himself that he was hoping it wasn't the case. Jin then asks him why did he ask about the drawings, asking if he knows what the drawing is. He thinks that of course he knows. The people of the Falivia learn this symbol before reading. We see them both looking at the red symbol drawn on a rock. He continues thinking that the symbol is the mark of the Falivia's nemesis. If the peoples of the symbol are involved, things get complicated. The good news is that Falivia knows this nemesis' behavior pattern better than anyone else. He then asks Jin if there's a large cave nearby, which she replied saying yes, there is one, but the adults say not to go. Eugene instructs her to lead him there. We then see Eugene with a torch to light the way as they both descend into the cave. He thinks that a human suddenly going mad, mysterious disappearances. Stories like these generally have one source: abyss worshippers. Even after the first mage Phelan descended, those who worshipped the abyss, the old masters of the horizon, regarded Phelan who came down from the stars as an usurper, to wash away the original sin of being born as Phelan's creations. They offer humans fellow creations of Phelan as sacrifices to the abyss. After a while of walking, they both see something that greatly surprises them. It's all the missing villagers, tied up in one place, looking like they got their souls sucked out of them. We see that they are tied up and placed in front a giant symbol. Jin is unable to understand the horrors she's witnessing, gripping Eugene's arm sleeve. Suddenly she sprints to the villagers while crying, calling out for her uncle named Ramon and her sister named Rosa. Eugene stands there with a terrified look on his face, thinking that this is horrifying. He never imagined it was this bad. This isn't something kids like them can handle. They must report to the adults quickly. Suddenly a bright flame-like light and someone mumbling distracts him. We see that an old person is saying a bunch of cult gibberish. Both Eugene and Jin looks with terrified faces. We see that it's the village chief. As he grabs and pulls the skin on his face, he looks directly at Eugene, and Jin saying, "The children of Phelan, burn them in the wells." As he says this, he slowly rips off the skin on his face, revealing a hideous monster that shouts that they should be fed to the dogs. It shouts that it was so close, just a bit more, repeating more over and over, asking why does Falivia always interfere? Jin confusedly calls out to what used to be the chief, while Eugene takes a defense stance to protect Jin while preparing to fight. The monster then lifts up its hand, creating a fireball while saying in the flames of the abyss, "Burn to death." This surprises Eugene that it's a mage. It then throws the fireball at them, but Eugene grabs Jin and dodges, crashing into a pile of hay that softens their fall. He thinks that he can't believe it's a mage and such a powerful one at that. Why is such a strong mage in a place like this? Wondering what should he do. He can't abandon the people and run. Even if he fight, there's no chance of winning, and the others might get caught in the magic. If it were the Falivia experts, they could cut through magic with a sword. But he who has been ill until recently cannot do as his elder brother would. He wonders if he was too complacent. Should he have informed the adults first? He should have hidden Jin away at least before coming in. He thought it was too dangerous to leave her alone. But now it's worse. He then calls himself a fool, saying what's the use of regrets now? He should just think of what to do. But his head just won't clear up. Suddenly Jin screams, getting him out of his trance. She screams that there are demonic beasts. We see that 2 demonic beasts are attacking them both. Eugene pulls himself together and grabs his sword, swiftly dealing with the demonic beasts. He comes to the solution of saving the regrets and worries for later. Right now he has to focus on who he needs to protect, and what he must do to protect them. The monster then roars out the name Falivia, while creating a fireball, saying it will offer Eugene as a sacrifice to the abyss. Eugene thinks to himself that if he must cut through magic to protect everyone, then that's what he'll do. We see that he's fully prepared and determined to do what he must, as that is the Falivia way. We then get to know that the sword of the Falivia can pierce through the abyss. The techniques of Falivia were developed over dozens of generations for the sole purpose of confronting the abyss. One of their techniques is the eyes of Falivia, that Eugene is showing signs of, an intuition born from the Falivia's unique training and practical combat experience manifesting in the form of sight. Some can foresee an enemy's next move, while others can perceive their weaknesses, and some even claim to see the strings that compose magic, truly a technique that has reached the realms of magic through the ages. But such a technique is not something him, Eugene, who has been bedridden, can wield like the family experts in an instant. But if he limit it to this one thing, to magic and strings, the monster then shouts at him to die and throws the fireball at him, which he cuts through it while thinking that even him too can cut through magic. The monster looks on in disbelief, that its magic chant has been cut through by an amateur like this. Jin is also in amazement at what Eugene just did. As he stands there, he thinks to himself that he must trust in himself. At least when it comes to strings, he can see them. The memories of him practicing with his one string flashes through his mind. He thinks that he's practiced string handling plenty of time. The monster then gets angry. It points its finger at Eugene with a yellow light illuminating at the tip, asking Eugene if he thought it would come to Folivia without a plan for this, calling him naive, frightening Eugene. A yellow light then hits him on the left part of his chest, exploding and sending him flying back. He lands right beside Jin, surprising her. She worriedly asks him if he's okay while tears fill up her eyes. He tells her he's fine. His coat has a protective enchantment, thinking that it was too fast to keep up with. Maybe it's weaker because of its speed. He could withstand it once, but if he doesn't block the next attack, it's over. But he thinks he can do this. As he thinks this, we see his eye is giving off a glow of light, thinking that with the eyes of the Folivia focused on each individual string, it's not impossible to see. The monster then stretches its arms out, creating multiple fireballs and confusing Eugene as to what he's seeing. As it shouts Folivia, Eugene is in disbelief that it can do multicasting. It shoots the fireballs at Eugene and Jin, telling him to try to cut through this as well, which Eugene runs to protect Jin, telling her to get behind him. He then starts cutting through the fireballs, thinking that it's not good. There are too many and too fast. He can't cut them all like this. One of them then hits him and burns his hand. His stamina can't keep up. He wonders if this is the end. As his eyes gets teary, he thinks that after he finally managed to cut strings, it's all because he's lacking. A realization then hits him. He thinks about cutting strings and remembers what Istine said. For the vibration of a string to become magic, at least 4 strings are needed. 4 strings must come together to form a harmony. So for someone like Eugene with only 1 string, aiming to become a mage, he must overcome the ridiculous absurdity of needing to use one as if it were 4. He then wonders what, if he can cut his own 1 string into 4. Of course, the moment he cuts the string, the magic will dissipate into meaningless sound waves. However, if he weaved the sound at the exact moment before it disperses, it's not impossible. As the fireballs rain down on Eugene, the monster laughs, telling him to burn to ashes. Suddenly, Eugene bursts through the flames, heading straight for it. Surprising it, Eugene thinks to himself that it was a simple problem. If it's hard to cut the strings of others, then he'll cut his own. As he cuts his own string in front the monster, it creates a move called quadruple slash, setting the monster ablaze. Well, this is where the video ends. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.